What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to episode number 577 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the City of Vineland. It's KB coming at you solo dolo. Pardon the cough. The Birds lose to the Jets, and there's not much to say about it. It's going to be a short, sweet, and to-the-point episode. Get you ready for Kelly Green Week. Get you ready for some more fills. And an update on Up to Something season and just some behind-the-scenes stuff here at Underground, which, you know, when I'm solo, it's fun to kind of talk about as, you know, kind of the operations side of the company to keep you guys in the know of what's going on. But before we get into everything, make sure you're following us on the socials. It really does help by following us, guys, at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook.com/UndergroundSportsPHI, Twitch.tv/UndergroundSportsPHI. Follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311, Instagram at KBIZZLE11, and on TikTok at KB Underground. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping the show continue to grow. It really does help support us and helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia as a whole. So go subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. It's where you get full video episodes of every podcast on our network, every podcast in full video form. It comes out, and it's the best way to stay in tap with us and make sure that you're consuming underground content the way that it's intended to be, seeing our beautiful faces. youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. And like I mentioned, the show is presented by the City of Vineland, and the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on their social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city, Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. Pardon me. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. Let's get into it. The Birds drop one to the Jets in ugly fashion. It's brought to you by PHI Apparel Company, the official merch partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Guys, go to phiapparel.co. Check out all the awesome merch that they have available from Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, Sixers, Union, original Philadelphia merch, and of course Underground Sports Philadelphia merch like the Philly Dog shirt. We've got some new stuff coming out pretty soon that you're not going to want to miss out on for your wardrobes. Go to phiapparel.co, and when you go to checkout, use code Underground for 10% off your order from our merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. The Birds drop one to the Jets. They look absolutely abysmal. Lose to the Jets for the first time in franchise history, 20-14. First time the Eagles have ever lost to the New York Jets. Jalen Hurts drops back to pass 45 times. He's 0-4 when he's had to pass 40 or 45 or more times in his career. Your leading rusher was Jalen Hurts with 47 yards rushing. DeAndre Swift was next in line with 18 yards rushing, which is not ideal. A.J. Brown goes over the 125-yard mark once again, and then every other receiver had 44 or less receiving yards. The defense played their asses off. They kept them in this game. The offense looked absolutely confused, absolutely despondent, and just had no idea what was happening throughout a majority of the game. Jalen looked pedestrian and did not look like himself. The offense just looked very discombobulated, very disjointed, and it was just not fun to watch. Hopefully Brian Johnson figures his shit out, because he's been pretty terrible to start his Eagles tenure as offensive coordinator. I have not been impressed with Brian Johnson whatsoever. Sean Desai, on the other hand, has been fantastic. I've been a huge fan of his so far. He's done a great job with this defense for the most part. There's been moments where, you want things to go a little bit better, but you can't always get what you want. And Sean Desai has been, I think, as advertised as a defensive coordinator, but Brian Johnson seems a little, as one of my lights just fell. Don't know how that happened, but that's fun for the outtakes. Brian Johnson seems just a little too in over his head. I don't know if that's going to remain a factor, or if that's just, typical first-time coordinator woes, but hopefully something gets figured out, because something does need to get figured out with this. It's not great. It's not fun when your red zone offense is as inefficient as the Eagles' red zone offense has been. It's borderline unwatchable. And they need to look themselves in the mirror and really figure some things out, because this was a winnable game in a lot of aspects. There was multiple times that this team could have sealed the deal and won this game, but they didn't. They didn't win. They chose to play poorly, and it showed. A lot of things need to be cleaned up when you're going up against a Miami Dolphins team that's very, very talented, very, very good offensively. And you're going to be in a big-time track meet with them potentially when they come to town on Sunday night. Plus, you're going to have all the pomp and circumstance of the Kelly Green game on Sunday Night Football. So there is a lot that this Eagles team needs to figure out coming out of this Jets game. And, the national media is going to run with the Eagles aren't what they were last year narrative the entire week. I say ignore that. The Eagles are still a very talented team. They're still very, very good. They're one of the best, if not the best team in the NFC, because tell me who have the 49ers played per se. There just needs to be things that need to get cleaned up. But overall, I still think the Eagles are a very, very good team. They're very, very talented. They have one of the top-tier quarterbacks in the NFL. They have the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. They have a fantastic running back in DeAndre Swift. Dallas Goedert is a top 5 tight end, in my opinion. And the defense is sensational. The Eagles don't have that much to worry about. It's just figuring out the little things. Being smart with the football. Being smart with decision-making. That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to with this team. It comes down to being smarter in the red zone, smarter red zone play calling, whether that's Nick Sirianni, whether that's Brian Johnson, or whoever it may be. If Jalen needs to audible, if he doesn't like a look from what the play call is, something needs to be done when it comes to this red zone offense in particular, because it is not good. It has not been good, and, you can only do so much before it really starts to get out of hand, and you're wondering, when are we going to start being effective in the red zone? This team was one of the best red zone teams in all of football last year, and now they're towards the bottom, and that's just not okay. That's not how you go on to win a Super Bowl, by being piss poor in the red zone. You need to be more efficient in the red zone. You need to be more calculated. You need to be smarter with your play calling. And, that starts from the top on down, and you got to figure some things out as the Miami Dolphins come to town. I don't know what you do to fix it per se. I think, you learn from this game by running the ball more. Just because it doesn't feel like it's working, don't go away from it and then have your quarterback drop back to pass 45 times in a game, because that's not a situation you want Jalen Hurts in either. He's not it's not like he's not capable, but having him do that statistically has not been good in his career for him. He's 0-4 when he's dropped back to pass 45 times or more in a game. It just doesn't work for him. It's not a smart move. And I just think the Eagles need to look themselves in the mirror in a lot of aspects and figure some things out, because this schedule does not get easier. It's a gauntlet schedule after this Jets game, from Miami to the Commanders on the road to the Cowboys coming to town. And then you have your bye week, and then you hit that road trip to Kansas City, and then you got the Buffalo Bills coming to town, and then the 49ers come to town before you go on the road to take on the Cowboys and the Seahawks, and then the Giants, and then the Cardinals, and then the Giants. So, that gauntlet stretch is upcoming, and this Jets game was one that a lot of people had penciled in as a W, and now you're on the outside looking in. From that perspective, you're still in a good spot overall in the NFC. One loss isn't going to make or break you, but, the 49ers ended up losing today as well, and, that was an opportunity for you to kind of leapfrog them in terms of just record and be ahead of the game with the 49ers. It was a chance for you to leapfrog ahead of the Detroit Lions. It was a chance for you to, kind of bury the Seahawks a little bit before they come to town, bury the Cowboys a little bit before they play. There's a lot of scenarios on the table for the Eagles here if they had remained undefeated, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, and, you'll figure it out. I think this team will be perfectly okay. They're a phenomenal team at home. Getting to play at home against the Dolphins rather than having to go to Miami, I think, is great for this team. And I think they'll bounce back. This is a type of situation where you lose like this, if you're the Eagles, where you bounce back in a major way and beat a team that is on paper and being talked about as better than you. Statistically, the Dolphins have been a phenomenal team this year. There's no dipping around that. But there's got to be a message sent in the locker room and from these leaders on this team to kind of look in the mirror and be better about situations like this, be better in games like this. And I think they'll respond. I don't think, you need too much to be said, but I think it is just one of those, like, kind of wake up and look yourself in the mirror, and it's like, what do we have to do to improve from here and learn from this and not let this be the norm or the standard, and this just be a blip on the radar that happened. It happens to every team. We saw it last year with this Eagles team on Monday Night Football against Washington. I think there's room for improvement in a lot of aspects, and I think it will happen. So I'm not overly concerned, and if I think I had to put a concern level out there after this game for the Eagles, I would put it simply I would put the concern level at maybe a 2, and that's majority the red zone offense is my biggest concern for this team. There's a lot of fixing that has to happen with the red zone offense and just the execution offensively, but other than that, I'm not overly concerned at this point in the season. You're 5-1, first time being 5-1 in back-to-back seasons in franchise history, I think, or you start 5-0 for the back-to-back seasons for the first time in franchise history. So I mean, I'm not particularly concerned about this Eagles team whatsoever. I think they're going to be okay. I think they'll figure some things out. We have one of the best head coaches in the NFL and some of the best damn leaders on a team in the NFL. So if you're scared, get a dog. The Eagles will be okay. They're going to bounce back against the Dolphins, and I think they'll beat the Dolphins going into a bit of a divisional gauntlet before the bye week. So don't be nervous. Don't fret. The Eagles will be okay. Everything's going to be all right. That's all I got for you guys on this episode. Matt and I will be back talking Phils on the next episode. And Red October will continue on. Eagles football coverage will continue on. And that's why you got to follow us on the socials at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook.com/Underground Sports PHI, Twitch.tv/Underground Sports PHI. You can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311, KBIZZLE11 on Instagram, and KB Underground on TikTok. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. It really does help the show continue to grow, helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia, and lets us do more dope stuff. The more subscribers and reviews we get and downloads, so be sure to download the pod. Make sure you have those auto downloads on, and then be sure to subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. So we get full video episodes of this podcast twice a week, full video episodes of every podcast on our network, original content, live streams, clips. We're on that road to 1,000 subscribers, guys. Let's make that happen before the end of the year. I would love to hit 1K before the end of 2023. So go subscribe, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Get your merch, phiapparel.co. Use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off any and all merch orders. And, of course, this podcast is presented by the City of Vineland. And whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process, and their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. Big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems, Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated, for their continued support of this podcast. And, of course, get your merch, phiapparel.co, code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your orders. This has been episode number 577 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy, KB. Go Birds, go Phils. We'll talk to you guys on the next one. But until then, I'm getting the heck up out of here, and I'm signing off. Peace.